Ready for another high school football season. Jim Ruppert, Todd Engle, State Journal Register. Central State 8, Central State 9, but they're keeping Central State 8. Talk about that first of all.
Well, they're following the precedent of the Big Ten, I think, which is actually the Big 11 and will soon be the Big 12.
Well, the Big 10, Big 12 is getting to be the Big 10.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's math is not important in college athletics, and nor when naming conferences, I guess.
Team at the top, Sacred Heart Griffin. Big rivalry game for the first week of the season. Some of the impression, including me, that this is the best week to get SHE might be week 1.
Yeah, I think so. You know, Glenwood's talked a lot about their speed. They're going to have to find ways to implement all these different weapons they have, especially because they're going to be smaller up front, especially now that Jake Wienhoff will be out for the season, their biggest lineman.
And that was a big factor last year in 2 games.
Absolutely.
The size.
You know, so they're going to have to do that. And then conversely, defensively, Glenwood, they know that Greg Wilson's capable of running the ball on them.
510
yards in 2 games last year. So you know, if they have to stop that and make SHG's new quarterback Connor Bland throw the ball. I mean, the kid's talented, but he's an unproven commodity.
Is it possible that Pat Smith will play also?
I think so.
Kind of talking about having both of them in
there. He's and I'm sure there's ways to implement both guys in there. He's, you know, every time I've talked to him, he's used the term 1 and 1A. So I would be shocked if you see one guy.
Some people also think
taking all the snaps.
Some people think if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
That's true too.
And Glenwood's kind of in the same position because Miles McAdams has won that job, left-handed sophomore, and but they're talking about Nicholson may play, and Fiash will be involved in things too. So 2 teams with the unsettled quarterback situations coming out in week 1.
Hey, makes it fun, you know.
Makes it fun. The other big story in the Central State is Rochester comes on board. 11-1 last year, made it to the semifinals, came that close to going to the state championship game. Can they compete? What expectations are there for Rochester?
You know, I think that you know, they're not down there beating their chest, but I think that there's a there's a quiet confidence about them. I think that they're counting on people to maybe look at them as the small school and take them lightly. And like in the story I wrote, Dan Work said that, you know, if you go to sleep on Rochester, it's not their fault, it's yours. I mean, anybody around here saw the amount of talent they had. Now I lost some of that, but at the same time, you know, in a blog post I compared them to Tuscola, who won a state championship, had their best season, jumped to a bigger conference, took a few losses during the regular season, but has become a monster in the 1A playoffs.
Benefited from the bigger competition.
Yeah, no, I don't. You know, that's not to say that Rochester will enjoy the same success, but I guarantee you, first of all, I think they're going to make the playoffs, and when they jump back down to 4A competition, when that happens, all the speed and all the size they've gone against all year is going to benefit them, and their seed might be a little bit lower than what it has been, but they will be a monster in the 4A playoffs.
Ready to go, and they're ranked number 4 in the state already.
Absolutely.
In Class 4A. The rest of the conference is probably more about individual achievement than team objectives. Springfield High has had 2 good years in a row. Terrell Bolden back, quarterback for those. He's back. Nick Lonergan, another strong-arm quarterback at Jacksonville. They have expectations at Jacksonville. Southeast, Albert Kern, great strides last year. Lost a lot of guys. Not a tremendously long roster this year. So those are a couple teams. Jeb Odom has 20 seniors and kind of likes what he has going. What's the rest of the conference look like?
You know, I think how it'll shake out. I think 3 teams are going to make the playoffs. Those being SHG, Rochester, and Glenwood. And I think after that, you could have anywhere from 4 to possibly 5 make it. I think you know, Jacksonville, Springfield, and Taylorville all up in the mix. And besides the games against each other, it's just going to be a matter of how they finish. You know, Jacksonville's got to find a way to stop people. That offense is plenty capable of scoring points. Springfield's got to whatever ailed them toward the end of last year after their hot start. They've got to fix that. And then you know, with Taylorville, plenty of talent there. It's just a matter of getting it all in the right spot. And then, you know, Lincoln's going to be looking to improve, and Lanphier as well. I mean, it's just it's an uphill fight. And the same thing with Southeast. They took some big strides last year, and they're going to have to overcome a short roster this year to try to do some damage and get back into the playoffs.
You're a football guy. You love this time, don't you? You're
Absolutely.
Ready for it to go.
This is, you know, basketball is fun too, and track and all the other stuff. But man, this is when is it Friday yet? It will be by the time.
It will be by the time folks are watching this.